Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here this evening for a special program. This year at the Broward County Black Chamber of Commerce, we're bringing you quarterly programming to ensure that you're keeping up with the overall U.S. market as well as our regional market down here in South Florida. Welcome again. My name is Shahiwa Jared Gellin, and I am pleased to have you join us tonight for a very special presentation. Our first installation this year was on the state of the 2022 economy, and we did that back in January. And tonight you are in for a treat as we're going to hear from a local real estate expert, Derek Olivier from One Market Real Estate. So we're extremely excited. But first, I want to talk to you about why we're doing this program here at the Chamber. It's important for you as small business owners to understand what's happening in our market. Yes, I know you're in tune with what's happening in your business and in your market, but there are other opportunities to build your wealth that you must be aware of. And here at the Chamber, we want to make sure we're the first to give it to you. So without further delay, we're going to welcome on uh, Derek Olivier of One Market Real Estate. Welcome, Derek.
Hi, Shahila. Thank you so much for having me today. Definitely appreciate the board for all you guys do and how hard you guys work to make sure that everybody who's a member can have adequate access to information, which I think is crucial in today's time. So as a real estate professional in South Florida, I actually am a broker of One Market Real Estate. I'm going to go over a couple of things with you guys. I'm going to go about a little bit about our company. We'll go over the real estate market in general, and then we'll dive deep into the real estate, the residential sales, as well as commercial markets that are out there, and talk briefly about some emerging locations to think about and consider.
Mm.
So once again, my name is Derek Olivier. I am the broker, owner, founder of One Market Real Estate. We are a boutique firm located in Coral Springs, and I have over 19 years experience in the industry. I've worked in commercial real estate, as well as worked as a director and also as a controller for a local developer in South Florida, for local developers throughout South Florida. Over my time, I've managed about 500 million in commercial and residential assets, as well as, I've had a degree in accounting from Stetson University, where I had a minor as well in information systems. I've loved this industry. I kind of went into real estate as a realtor actually first, and then I transitioned to a broker. And we currently have a great team among us. We have roughly about 30 different realtors throughout the South Florida area. Our company's name is One Market Real Estate because each agent that we have represents a particular segment of the community. And they live there, they work there. They try to provide a great experience for every single buyer and seller that we work with, and renter as well. So we have a great team, and I'm really proud of my staff. I think sometimes I look at them and see what they achieve, and I just feel so proud of all they accomplish because I feel like I played a role in that success, which is what I want. I want to make sure that everybody wins. I always have that quote from Issa Rae. I'm rooting for everybody black. So I'm making sure that I can do my part to help you guys achieve success in everything that you try to do. Now, once again. Our company is geared towards residential sales, but we do also focus on commercial and rentals. Now, with every buyer or seller that we work with, we do create kind of a marketing timeline for you. We'll provide you guys with professional flyers, HD pictures, drone shots, 3D tours. And then we do a very strong marketing detail. I actually call myself a marketing expert, not a realtor, because my job as a listing agent and my team's jobs as listing agents is to get you guys the best possible projection of your property and show it in its highest light. So we do things that we spend a little bit more money than other companies do to make sure your home is shown in the highest light possible. Like I mentioned before, we have an amazing photographer that we work with that provides some beautiful shots. As you can see, we provide that with all our listings. And on top of that, we do some amazing things with social media. Here's an example of some of the statistics of what we've done in the past, where we've had about 31,000 viewers on a particular property we worked with. And that was over a span of about less than 30 days. Same thing with Facebook ads that we've done in the past too. Now, like I mentioned, our location is over in Coral Springs. We're a full service real estate brokerage, so we do all facets of real estate. We have a great team of on the property management side that helps with the renovations and repairs of properties and make sure that our landlords are happy. Now let's jump into things that you guys came here for. I'm going to jump into just telling you guys mostly about what's going on in South Florida. Now, I'm sure you know the market's hot. I'm going to kind of give you some information as to why that is by just looking at the basic data that's presented either by the U.S. Census or the DEO or other organizations that provide information. First and foremost, the property that's in South Florida, vacant land in general, is extremely scarce. When the numbers were done, actually, as the end of 2021, it's showing roughly less than 1% in Palm Beach of land available currently. That's about 20 square miles. And in Broward County, it was about 1% as well, 5 square miles of vacant land. Now that land is not in one location. It is kind of scattered throughout the area, throughout the county that it works, that is according to. But like I said before, land is extremely scarce right now. Now, population growth is what's actually happening. I'm sure you guys have read the news. South Florida is booming when it comes to people transitioning here. We are actually number one in the nation for net migration. So that means when you take the amount of people that are moving out and then you take the amount of people that are moving in, we actually have the highest number of growth in the nation right now. However, we are second highest growth in population size. That's primarily because in South Florida, we have an older generation. So, a lot of people have passed away, I'm sorry to say, last year. And as a result of that, when you take the amount of people that moved in, as well as the natural death rate that happened in South Florida, it became a situation essentially that we became second instead of first in regards to population growth. Now, our current population is about 21 million people, 21.7 actually. And the census is showing that we had about 211,000 people that came here between July 20th and July 2021. So that's a big influx of people. That's a huge influx of people. And I think if you're out there looking for homes right now, all you hear is people from Texas, people from California, people from New York, people from New Jersey are taking up all your homes, right? And that's where that number is coming from. The thing about it, though, is that people that are migrating to Florida are not just moving to South Florida. They actually are moving all throughout Florida. Some of the northern counties are getting a couple more people than us in South Florida. So eventually what's going to happen right now, Palm Beach is currently number 3 in the state. However, Orange County as well as Hillsborough County will probably surpass it in time because of the fact that there's so many people moving to the northern parts of Florida as well. Now, currently, Palm Beach County had an increase from 2010 about 16%, right? That's crazy. So they're about 1.7 actually now. I think it's showing 1.5 on the screen there, but that should be about 1.7, I believe, as of today or as of February. Broward County is 1.9 million people, and they had an increase of about 12%, 12.5% from 2010. Now, Broward County is the most dense community in all of Florida. So that kind of gives you an idea that Broward County is really jam-packed right now, whereas Miami-Dade has a little bit more space, and Palm Beach. Now, both Palm Beach and Miami-Dade are much bigger counties than Broward is. So as a result, that's kind of is the reason why density is at the level that it is. Now, Miami-Dade is increasing by about 8%. So they're about 2.7 right now. Now, it's crazy because South Florida actually hit 6.1 million people. I think it was like a couple of months ago, which is huge. It's a huge number. We are actually like, if you take our population size and you compare it to other counties in the nation, just for let's say just Miami by itself, Miami is showing at number 11th in the nation in regards to population size for a county, which is really crazy, right? Because when you consider, of course, California and New York have a lot more people in those cities. However, I mean, the fact that we're number 11 says a lot about what's happening out here in South Florida. And when you combine those three counties, the earning potential is ridiculous. I mean, we're going to talk about that as well. Just the GDP and things like that of South Florida is about $311 billion, which is crazy. That's borderline better than some nations. But anyway, but with that being said, our unemployment is relatively low in South Florida. On average, it's about 3.3%. We have about 480,000 jobless individuals. So that's a really small number when you consider it's about 6.1 million people. In addition to that, our GDP, like I said, it's about 311. We employ about 3 million people, right? So that's really, really, really crazy. And according to the DEO, we're expecting a job growth of about 12% over the next 8 years. So so South Florida's economy is doing really well, which shows that I don't think the growth is going to stop anytime soon. With all the influx of people to the actual money that's been made over the last couple of years and the projections that we have, it's just looking like, our economy is going to continue to grow and get stronger and stronger. Now, Palm Beach County itself, it's about 3% unemployment right now. And that's down from 5.1 last year this time. They have about 22,000 people unemployed currently. Broward County has about 3.2% of unemployment, and we are down from 6.1, which is really great. Like, a lot of these numbers are actually record numbers for the counties, for their respective counties. So it's really great what's going on in South Florida right now. And I think everybody's recognizing that we're not only a vacation spot, but we're a destination space to stay in, to live in, to grow in, and to have your families move to. So Miami-Dade experienced about 2.8 unemployment, which is really low again. And that's down from 6.6 as of the same time last year as well. And unemployment as well is really low there. Now, when we take that into consideration, we look at what's happening in the residential market. I'm sure, like I said, you guys have heard the stories. You've probably read the newspapers. If you look at news right now, that's all they talk about is how the real estate market is booming. Well, South Florida is no different. In fact, I think we're doing way better than most places, and we continue to increase in value. And as of just, if you just look at the different marketplaces, if we look at Broward County starting first, the single family homes, this is just kind of giving you an idea on a little line chart here for you to kind of give you an idea of what's happening. Now, if you look at each line represents a different year. We've tracked the years from 2017. We continue to kind of track the data in one market just because we'd like to understand what the trends are so that we can better advise our customers and our investors. So as you look at these line charts, you can see the dramatic gaps. When you ever see a gap, that means there was a substantial increase in value for the homes. And if you just look at what happened in 2021 and you compare it to the same time in 2022 now, there's a dramatic gap there, roughly about $100,000 almost, which is amazing. So a lot of our customers are walking away with tons of money. We have people who bought homes in 2020, were able to sell and walked away with over 100K, things like that, that has been happening right now. Now, overall, the market has increased by 13% year over year from 2020 to 2021. And with that being said, we recognize how well this market is going now. Now, if we go further on and we just look at Miami-Dade County and we look at the actual drill down into the actual details, with Miami-Dade County, the median home price right now is $536,000. That's the median on sales price. In general, what's been happening is a lot of people from New York, California, like I mentioned before, are coming down. They're selling their homes and their properties there. And as you know, New York and California both have really expensive markets. And so when they sell their homes for $1 million or so, they're able to come down here and buy homes cash easy. To them, $500,000 is cheap for a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom home. So with that being said, you have about 27% of the market being bought by cash in Miami-Dade. And in regards to condos and townhomes, you have about 53% of the market. So it's a little bit more. And that's the things that you're going to be experiencing. A lot of your friends are experiencing, seeing that people buying homes with cash. It's because of the people moving in and the influx of people from California and New York. Now, the median sales price keeps increasing. Now, if you just look at those numbers there, it was 450 in 2021. Currently, we're at 536. So like I said, we're just under 100K, which is really, really nice for anybody who's looking to sell property right now. We definitely look like we're hitting those peaks right now. That makes it so that it's very advantageous to sell a property. Now, the biggest thing that we look at when we determine what's going on with the market is the active inventory and the monthly supply of inventory. Now, what we found is that when you do the data, we see that you have about 2,211 homes throughout all of Miami-Dade County in the month of February that were available for sale, right? If you look at the numbers and look at 2021, you'll see that that number, that active inventory list, is down substantially, almost 1,000 homes. And the thing about it is in 2021, it was also down by like 20%. So you're in a situation where every year we have less and less homes available for sale. And that just kind of tells us something about the market that we'll get into. I'm sure you guys have questions about that. We'll definitely talk about that. But the monthly supply of inventory is a tool that we use to better understand what type of market we're in. And it's almost like an absorption rate. And what the monthly supply of inventory tells us is that if we were to take the current homes that are available for sale right now, the 2,212 homes that are available for sale right now, and we were not adding any more properties to that list, how many months would it take us to sell off that entire group of homes? And it's showing us here that we're at 1.7 months, which means that we are in extreme seller's market. Now, to get a better understanding of that scale, the scale is from 1 or 0 almost to 10. 0 to 5 is roughly a seller's market. Anything under 5 is a seller's market. 5 months to 6 months is a normal market. And then anything over 6 months is considered a buyer's market. So we are in extreme levels of seller market right now. So you can see that right now that in 2021, it was at 2.8, and now we're down to 1.7 in single family home sales in Miami-Dade. So it's extremely a seller's market, great time to sell, very advantageous for anyone who's looking to sell. Townhomes had that same experience, roughly about 380,000 for the median sales price, but the inventory is down 55%. And you see that 5,272 number there, showing from 11,735 last year. This time, it's down to 5,272. And that what we're experiencing, and the reason why that's happening primarily is because people are not able to afford to purchase single family homes anymore. So now they're forced to buy townhomes and condos, and as a result, you see that number going down dramatically, where we're showing a monthly supply of inventory now in the condo and townhome range of about 2.6. So, the market right now is booming. Anybody in this industry right now who is looking to sell a property is having the time of their life, right? So Broward County is experiencing the same amount of profit and value. Median sales prices at 519, inventory down 29.9%. Cash purchases also are very high in Broward County. We have about 30% of market of homes that are for sale being bought by cash for single family homes. And townhomes are experiencing 56.8% cash purchases as well. So as you can see, it's a really tough market for buyers right now, but sellers are having a field day with a monthly supply of inventory of 1.1. Townhomes experiencing the same type of growth, about $40,000 more over this time period last year, showing that to 240,000 median sales price. Active inventory about 2,671 with a 1.5 monthly supply of inventory. So currently we're experiencing the highest growth that I've seen in a long time. And it's primarily driven by the fact that there's just not any properties out there. This is a supply and demand issue. You have so many people moving to South Florida, so many people with great jobs making good money, and being in a situation where there's nothing out there to buy. And people who currently have homes are probably put in a situation where they want to sell, but if they don't have anywhere to go to, right, then they're stuck with their homes, and they're just like, I can't sell right now because where am I going to go? So as a result, they're not putting the people that normally would put their homes on the market are not putting their homes on the market. So we're in a situation where the inventory is scarce and the buying supply is high. And there's a lot of things that happened with this pandemic that really bolstered the real estate economy, because a lot of people had the ability to work in New York, work in California, work in these high paying communities like Chicago and things of that nature, and then come and live and move down to South Florida because of remote work. And if that becomes a staple in society, I think we're going to find that South Florida will continue to grow and values will continue to kind of increase in South Florida. Now, Palm Beach as well, experiencing great growth. They're at 530,000 median sales price, up from 450,000 the prior year, showing an inventory reduction of 40%, which is ridiculous. Monthly supply of inventory at 1.1. Again, townhomes doing just as well, showing 275,000 median sales price with active inventory of about 1,494. Now, if you just think about that logically, between the single family homes and the townhome and condos that actively are available for sale on the market currently as of February. Now, March is a little bit different. The numbers for March hasn't been released yet, but this is just showing February. We're about 3,200 homes available in all of Palm Beach County. And you have so many people. You have 211,000 people moving to South Florida. And there's no wonder why we're having the challenges we're experiencing. That kind of sums up the residential market. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and jump in the commercial for you guys. I know you probably have some questions about residential, but we'll definitely jump on those in the end. But the commercial market is also experiencing the same growth as a result of all the things that are happening in South Florida. Vacancy rates on retail property. Now, retail property is shopping centers and things of that nature throughout South Florida. The vacancy rate is about less than 5%, which is really good. So they are about 4.9% right now in Palm Beach. This is for Palm Beach County. The net absorption is negative 80,513. That's actually showing that more properties became available for rent than were released as of last year of 2020. And that's primarily because of some big locations that were opening up. There's a lot of rental spaces that have been opening up, a lot of new construction happening. And as a result, those things haven't been leased up yet. So when you bring more square footage on the market, although there was a lot of sales happening in the retail space because of new construction that was built, it showed that negative absorption rate of about 80,000 square feet. The asking rent has gone up from 25.12 in the Q3 of 2021 to about $27 per square foot, and in the Q4, it's up from 2020. 2020 was $23.44. The industrial market as well has also seen some great gains. Industrial market is really kicking butt right now due to like e-commerce. E-commerce has really been bolstering the industrial market in South Florida. So a lot of companies like Amazon and things of that nature, as well as individuals who are opening up their own individual companies, are coming in and getting those industrial spaces and really making it their own. And as a result, the vacancy rate is about 3.5% from 4% in 2020. The absorption rate is a negative 62,000 in Palm Beach, with an average asking rent of about $9.94 in Q4, which is a new record high for the industry up in Palm Beach. The actual office space vacancy rate is about 13.2. That's down from 14.5. So office space in Palm Beach is doing well. The absorption rate is about a positive 528,000 square feet. Asking rent for most spaces is also up to $39.86 per quarter. In the downtown areas, the rent actually is going really high. They're up to $65.42 per square foot. That is crazy, guys. I don't know. If you just do the math, just take the square footage of a normal space, which might be 2,500 square feet or 3,000 square feet, and you multiply that out, you'll see what those numbers are. It's ridiculous. So it's getting really, really crazy out here for us normal folk. So we're going to look at Broward County. Broward County is also experiencing great success in the retail industry as well. They're at less than 5% vacancy ratio, again, with a 5.8 from the prior year. The absorption rate in Broward County actually is doing really well with 778,000 square feet, up from that to 1 million square feet in 2021. The asking price per square foot in Broward is about $24.32. Once again, up from $21.91 in 2020. The industrial market, once again, e-commerce is kicking butt, and as a result, vacancy rates are down 5.5%, which is really good. Net absorption, once again, is about 3 million in the industrial space. That's really good. About 8 million square feet was actually leased last year. It's a lot. So average asking rent roughly is about $10.09. That's down $1 from 11.09 in 2020. So the vacancy rate in offices is the vacancy rate for offices in Broward is also up a little bit, 16.9%. So it was an increase in the vacancy rate, which means that there are more offices available for rent. But that was actually once again due to just all the new construction that's happening with office spaces right now. And so it's not a good reflection. It's not a fair reflection of what's happening in the market, because there were a lot of new Class A buildings that were built that are like 50% leased. So they were built last year and the year before. That's causing these numbers to kind of be deflated less than what they probably should be on a normal market when it's not as much growth happening. The average asking rent for just office space roughly is about $35.30. So gives you some good numbers there. Commercial sale real estate in Miami-Dade. The vacancy rate is about 3.7. Once again, it's pretty good. The absorption was 1.3 million compared to 968 in 2020. Asking rent of about $39.49, which is up from $36. Vacancy rate is actually very, very low again in industrial markets. Industrial market is what's really driving this commercial market right now. They're at 2.6%. Record lows for Miami-Dade. The net absorption rate is about 7.8, and that once again is up from 4.3. Like I said, the industrial sales is where it's at right now, or leases is where it's at right now. The average asking rent is roughly about $10.30 Q4, and that's wonderful to see. The vacancy rate is about 16% in office spaces, though, which is relatively high once again in Miami-Dade. Now, emerging markets. I'm going to wrap this up with some nice stuff for you guys to think about. There's a lot of things that are happening in South Florida. We're having a lot of really great development ideas that are occurring in our community, and it's great for us to really kind of jump on board and start figuring out how we can kind of find our space in these spaces. A lot of these places which are amazing is that they have these developers that are creating these environments that are awesome. Now, the only challenge with that is that there is some gentrification happening that is hurting a lot of the population in South Florida. And with the prices of homes growing as high as they are, sometimes these new developments, which are generally put in communities that are underserved, communities, it tends to be a situation where these individuals are left in the dark. A lot of these cities, though, are starting to kind of promise different things that they're going to do to kind of ensure that the residents and the lifelong residents in those communities are taken care of, meaning that maybe some affordable housing options and things of that nature. But when these communities do pop in, develop, and these developers start coming into these communities, they do have a tendency of displacing a lot of homes and a lot of people, hardworking Americans. So, but with that being said, there is opportunity there for individuals who may be looking to kind of jump on board the bandwagon here. And what you can do is you can look at these different communities that are developing and see where your space is. Like I said, one of the communities, of course, I've always been talking about this, is the downtown Delray area. Delray is really, the city commission has really done what they can to kind of really change the community and really add a different flavor to it that a lot of people are gravitating to. The most recent project that they did was the Atlantic Crossings project. That was, I think it was in September or August of last year. That was like a $300 million project. It had about 83,000 square foot of office space, 76,000 retail, and 260 apartments and condos. And also last year, they also broke out with the Delray Beach marketplace. I don't know if you guys had a chance to go check that out. It was a $60 million project. It had about 150 square feet with 27 vendors and space for entertainment. Now, whenever you see a city really investing in their communities like this, it's always a great sign that there's going to be some opportunities there. I know a lot of people in the Airbnb space who have bought in this community in the downtown Delray, and their Airbnbs are consistently booked. There's a situation where they're making 6-7K a month off of Airbnb in these types of communities because of the fact that they have so much of an influx of people coming in. And when you start having these high rises being developed with 260 apartments and 82 condominiums, they're going to need spaces to kind of to enjoy restaurants, and then it creates this environment where people want to come to it, right? And so you have all these people traveling to Delray just to see what all the hubbub is about, right? So it's a great community there. Still opportunity there to kind of look in that space to see where you can kind of find something that may be beneficial to you in the future. One of the other emerging markets is in Pompano right now. The city has a plan in Pompano. It's off of Atlantic, just east of 95. If you look to the left as you go that way, you'll see a lot of vacant land. A lot of that land is city owned. Some of it's also like private, Broward County owned as well land. So, but what they're planning to do is to do something similar to like Holland and those places with the canal in the middle of the road, and they're going to build these downtown city place down there. So they're planning on putting a lot of offices, a lot of the city hall will be there. And if you can look at this video, you'll see a little bit more about it. I'll let the video play just so you guys can kind of see a little bit more of what they're trying to do there.
The headlines are clear. Pompano Beach is changing before our eyes. When a city invests in itself, the private sector notices and starts investing too. So what's next? Building a downtown. It's 20 years in the making, so get ready. Downtown is now zoned for a mix of offices, new retail and restaurants, residential, hotels, tech and cutting-edge industry ripe for collaboration, culture, and people. An innovative waterway system to maximize the land available for development is in its preliminary design phase. And new and improved roads and safety features for pedestrians to easily move from the cultural center to Old Town to the Innovation District. Want to invest, build, live, work, or just be here? Call us.
Now, once again, like I mentioned, these are like emerging markets. So they're definitely going to build that downtown. They've been trying to do it forever now. And it looks like everything, the green light's kind of been given. So once again, start figuring out where your space can be if it's trying to get some Airbnbs or maybe even getting some commercial space out there, being maybe if you have a business, maybe bringing your business to that area might be an opportunity for you, a restaurant of some sort, or come with an idea that's similar to what's been happening in South Florida. A lot of things that are happening that's been kind of the trend right now is that marketplace where you buy like kind of a big warehouse style location. And then you have like small vendors that rent from you, maybe some local vendors and things of that nature. If you work with the cities might be able to grant you some money and help you do that, because maybe the angle you can take is that you're going to be helping a lot of the local business owners that maybe can't afford the new rents that are going to be developing. So it's a great way to kind of make your space your own and find something that makes sense for you and maybe your investments in the future. Definitely a great location that I think will happen. I kind of like Pompano Beach because of that, especially that location, because it's so close to the beach. If you take Atlantic straight east, you will go right to the beach area out there, and they have a lot of fun things to do in that side as well that I think that people will take advantage of if you were to kind of create that space there. Now, once again, they are promising affordable housing for a lot of residents that live there. Now, most of that area that they're mapped out is going pretty much the way to understand the location of it. It's going to be north of Atlantic all the way up to MLK Boulevard, and then east all the way to Martin Luther King Boulevard, and as far west as 95. So that whole area right there is going to be what you saw in that video. That's the plan, at least. And a lot of any of the residents that are kind of on the north end, closer to the Martin Luther King Boulevard, supposedly they're going to be building some affordable housing, maybe like a facility or some sort further down to kind of create the space for them to live as well. A lot of people rent in those communities, so what's going to inevitably going to happen is the landlord will just sell the property to the city, or something eminent domain will happen, or something to kind of take the property. So if they decide to push forward with this, which it looks like it will happen, this is a great opportunity for you to kind of maybe get some outskirt communities, some outskirt areas, start looking to invest in the area, maybe next to it, just so you can kind of get some extra opportunities there for yourself. Now, another great location, I've been actually saying this for a while now, Little Haiti is killing it right now. I mean, it's about to be like a really, really nice location out there in Little Haiti. Now, once again, it's kind of sad what's happening, because once again, there've been people who've had businesses and who had homes that lived in this community for years, their whole lives, their families, moved there because of what occurred back in the 50s, where blacks could not live in certain communities. And the thing about this actual community, Little Haiti, that people don't know, is that Little Haiti has it's a little bit higher on the water plane. So as a result, it doesn't flood like some other areas in Miami. So a lot of people who are in those flood zones and they recognize that that the property that they own may not have any value in a couple of years. They are flocking to these areas. The MIMO area was what they call it, the Miami Innovation area. So, but Miami Martin is what the MIMO stands for. But it's the innovation area is what they're calling that area in Little Haiti. And they have this amazing plan that they've already started. So this one's actually a given. It's going to happen. They're really doing some innovative things over there. However, they've been pushing out the people that have those jobs on that street for years now. One of the main owners of this particular project, he's been buying up all the land. Like, he had the foresight, I guess, or he just had the plan in mind. And he had the money to do it, and he has really pushed this objective, and it's coming to fruition now. So here's some information for you about this particular build, which I think it'll be cool. It's called Magic City. It's the area, the innovation district in Little Haiti.
Something magical is happening in Miami. A new facet of this city is emerging, thriving with history, culture, energy, and change. A community fueled by passion, dynamic thinking, creativity, and vision. where we harness technology to enrich our lives and work together to create a better tomorrow. Miami's thriving epicenter for innovation is here and now, at the heart of Miami's new urban core, surrounded by vibrant and inspired, yet distinct destinations just minutes away. High-end shopping in the Design District, retail and dining in Midtown Miami, the ever-changing art and entertainment scene of Wynwood, the authentic and historic neighborhood vibes of the transforming Mimo District, the vibrant culture of Little Haiti. All connected to nature via neighborhood parks with direct access to Biscayne Bay. The Magic City Innovation District is where the future is taking shape in all directions. A place where technology is taking root as a new economic driver, where art and culture blend seamlessly into everyday experiences, where a sustainable tomorrow is proving its value and improving our lives. And living well is now synonymous with enriching the mind, body, and spirit. This is where passions flourish, where experiences and gastronomic adventures await, where ideas take shape and propel us to new heights. This is where unique is found and where creative minds gather, where imaginations are cultivated to create a better tomorrow, and body and spirit are nurtured like never before. There's an undeniable energy and pulse transforming our neighborhood into a leading model of urban revitalization. The Magic City Innovation District Little Haiti is a major catalyst for our community. A mixed-use development fostering a live, work, play, and learn lifestyle. With over 2,600 residences, 2 million square feet of innovative office space, a full-service hotel, and unique retail and entertainment offerings throughout, accentuated by ample green spaces. Directly connected to the area's new commuter rail system and strategically linked to all of South Florida. An innovation hub driven by technology and passion, devoted to community, committed to nature. Setting the stage for the imaginative, where every day is a new horizon providing new opportunities, where the new urban core is transforming. This is where magic truly happens. The Magic City Innovation District, Little Haiti.
Now, like I mentioned, there's a lot of things happening in South Florida. I know everybody knows of the normal stuff like the Fat Village in Broward County that's been developing over by Sistrunk, that's been kind of pushing further west from Federal Highway. And you also know about Wynwood. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys a taste of some other things that are happening in South Florida that will provide opportunity for success for you guys if you guys are thinking about investing in different locations. And once again, you're getting in the early stages, and there's no guarantee this will be a great venture. But just the numbers themselves, all the statistics and the data is just showing that South Florida is just going to continue to grow. And if that's the case, then I don't see how we can't become New York, California in the near future, just because of the fact that we have so many different businesses that are moving here, from Amazon to different parts of Microsoft and things of that nature. We're getting that technology that's coming out here in South Florida. We've already had the actual distribution of things like that, logistics and things like that are happening out here. So as a result, the opportunity is growing and growing in South Florida. And I hope you guys get a chance to take advantage of it. That's all I have for you today. So I hope that gave you guys some information, a little insight into the Miami and South Florida in general marketplace. And definitely will be here to help with any questions. Our company, once again, is servicing all of South Florida. And, we're here to help any way we can.
All right. Thank you so much, Derek. That was wonderful. Such in-depth information, detailed, and follow through with statistics. It gave us a really good understanding of what's driving the market. Everybody understands the results. Oh, prices are going up, but now we kind of have a better understanding of what's driving the market, as well as, how, we can get on the other end of it, maybe get ahead of the curve in some of these areas, and invest. So, people always ask, well, when is a good time to get in the market? It seems like it is a more of a seller's market, should we be looking to invest in this market?
So what I would say to that though is that I know a lot of people. The big question is always: is the market going to crash? Is it? Should I buy now? Should I wait? Should I hold my money? I would tell you guys to definitely buy if you can buy right now. And primarily why I say that is because once again, when I look at the data and statistics, it's showing that we're growing. Now, do I think that we can continue growing at the rate that we're growing? No, it's not sustainable. However, generally what happens in that situation is not like a correction that people kind of think will happen where the market will just fall, the bottom will fall out and prices will go back down to $200,000. That's not going to happen. I think we've seen a steady increase in kind of the standard of what the home values are over the last 20 years. If you think about it in 2020, when 2020 first came around, we were around the 100,000 to 150, maybe $200,000 home prices. And then as 2010 came around, we're closer to the 300,000. Then it kept creeping up every couple of years, every 5 to 10 years, we keep creeping up. And now we're at that $500,000 range. And so do I think we're going to go back down? No, I think it's a good time to buy solely because of that factor, as well as the fact that inventory is so low. We have an influx of people coming in. I think the most that will happen is the economy will stabilize, and essentially the values we're seeing now might be the values that we see in 6-7 months from now.
Let me ask this question. I know we had a conversation even in the midst of, I guess, the worst part of the pandemic. I know in 2020 when this thing first started, it was kind of like, oh, we're just trying to survive. We're not really looking to do much. But I think it's important to share with the audience that even during that time, there was growth in home prices, etc. So, I mean, share that, because I think that just gives us a good perspective with regard to, what we may be thinking internally and then actually what's happening in the market.
And I'm going to say this: I'm not going to try and act like I am a genie and I just know everything's happening in the market. But what I will say though is that during that time period, I was telling people, the numbers are not showing what you think is about to happen. Mm-hmm. And I kept telling my investors, and I kept telling my people, and during that time period when it first broke, we did have a dip. We had a little bit of a dip in the market where from March to probably May, the market kind of dipped a little bit because people were pulling their homes off the market. Everybody didn't want to buy anything. Everybody kind of stopped. But once the people were able to get back out of their houses and the ban for the ban that we had established was lifted, and everybody started going back out again, that number just started skyrocketing, and it never stopped. It never stopped from that time period. Wow. And I was because like I was saying before, what actually happened during that time period is people who have been around since the first crash that happened back in 2007, 2008, they thought it was the same thing happening. It wasn't the same thing. When you look at the numbers, you start seeing that the people who were losing their jobs back in 2008 were in the professional sector, right? Those are the individuals that were losing their jobs. That's the individuals that drive the real estate market in general. But when you looked at the numbers of people who were losing their jobs back in 2020, and I know it was horrible, but it was affecting primarily the hospitality industry. And the hospitality industry generally doesn't buy homes. They actually rent a lot. So, and they were protected because of the ban. You couldn't evict people out. Right, so it was a situation where honestly, it just didn't matter. The market did not really take effect to what was going on with what people, the fears that people were having. And with people moving down from New York to California, it was just a situation where the market just took off and rocketed off.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's a good example to share when, we may kind of, based on what's happening, have our own internal anxieties or kind of hesitation, but the market is actually doing something quite different. This was interesting because I'll say this one last thing, because you mentioned Airbnb and different things during your presentation as a way for, I guess, people to enter the market. Maybe you buy a condo, you don't go for the whole big home, but try to find perhaps an investment that may make sense for you. So if you could talk a little bit more about that aspect, and maybe some of the stories you have from clients who've actually entered that market, did a little Airbnb and had, some success there.
Well, one of the things I've noticed with the Airbnb market, a lot of people have done really well. Some people haven't, right? It is about location to some degree. I don't want to make it sound like you just buy a property and you're going to do well.
Right.
In regards to the actual like condo style, if you do decide to buy a condo, you have to make sure that you're working with a realtor that understands what goes on in those communities, because some of the communities, they don't allow that, right? Only certain places allow daily rentals, which is what an Airbnb is. And so you need to make sure you identify the daily rental, make sure that you get the clearance with the HOA, because I've had people tell me stories where they bought a property, that not through me, of course, not through any of my agents, but they bought a property not knowing, and they weren't able to rent it for a year, and they got stuck with the property, so they had to go and sell it. They still were able to come out unscathed because the market's doing so well, but you want to be careful there. Now, in regards to just the Airbnb market itself, I think you want to look for locations that have a lot of activity around them. So maybe I know a lot of people, even Miami Gardens, believe it or not, buy in those communities with the idea that during like events like Carnival and things like that, and Open and all these other kind of things that are happening in that area will generate traffic and people who are vacationing down there. So you want to think about those things. Single family homes is generally the best way to do this, because you don't have the additional charges of the HOA and things of that nature that you might have to pay. But if it makes dollars, it makes sense. So if it's profitable, that's what you want to do. I would tell you guys that you want to look at about 20 days, figure out what the averages are in that area. You can look on Airbnb in general, or some of the other sites that are out there for Airbnb for that style of housing. And you can look at what they go for on average in that community, and then multiply it by 20 days. 20 days is kind of when you have a good Airbnb. Maybe do it by 15 or so. So 20 days a month, a rental is what you want to kind of accomplish. A lot of people that I know who do well on it are charging about $250 a day. And then you have like increases on the weekends to kind of make up for some of that too. And then they can make like $8,000 a month from it, so it can be good money. And so I would say just check the different markets out there, find out what has a lot of activity. I would say emerging markets like what I showed you just now might be great opportunities for you to jump in now, maybe get a regular renter in there until that market really develops, and then jump in the Airbnb space, so.
That's a really good point. We do have a question from Samuel Bryant. How can new or smaller investors position themselves to compete with institutional investors in South Florida? That's a good question. I know I was watching something recently where, the question came up, the fact that you have all these huge institutions buying all these homes, in kind of like a wholesale manner. And so how do the small time, the individual investors kind of get in there and make a mark for themselves? I think part of that answer is what you were just saying as well. But
yeah, Airbnb is a great way. Rentals in general. I think the biggest thing for a newer investor is the fear of failing, right? And I say the first thing you gotta do is get over that fear, right? Without any risk, no reward. But just make it a calculated risk. It doesn't have to be like a situation where you go headstrong into something you don't know anything about. Learn about the community, get a good realtor who can give you the numbers behind it, and make sure it makes sense. Even if it's profitable by $1, do it, right? Because if the numbers are going like they are and people are moving in South Florida like they're moving, the value is going to keep, in 10 years, it's going to be worth a lot more. So take the time to do it now. So do an individual home. If you're a smaller renter, a smaller investor, start that way. Maybe do a townhouse or a condo, anything you can afford. As long as you can afford it, make it happen. And thirdly, try and team up with somebody, right? I think that one thing that you need to do we need to stop thinking about how can I make money, start figuring out ways how we can make money, right? Start doing like pools of people that are different investors, find investors out there that you can team up with and go buy 2 properties together, 3 properties together, right? And before you know it, you might be making the first deal, you might only be making like, $5,000 a year, but then next year you're making 30 and 40 and 60. And then next, you're making $100K a year because you guys have 20 homes. So understand that this is your opportunity and you just got to step into the space. That's the big, take the jump, and work with a realtor that knows what they're doing. All right. Don't let someone just small talk you, right? Find someone who has done this before, has worked in investments and assisted in finding wealth for investors.
Now, I like that advice. And I think that the research, right, and understanding the neighborhood, understanding the numbers as, as you've kind of dug deep into them, taking that dive and working with someone who does that can help alleviate that fear and anxiety and say, okay, well, this is something I should get into. This is a good deal, or a good risk to take. I also like your comment where you talked about teaming up because Samuel said thank you. He said thank you. I also like the fact of teaming up together so that you're not, as you're looking, just thinking about, well, can I afford this? What can I do? But you kind of get to think bigger if you bring on more people, because then your options increase. And I think that's especially important for our community. And I know that we've even talked about that, Derek, to say how can we foster that environment? Because at the end of the day, as you so eloquently put it in your presentation, a lot of these areas where there's development and new projects going in, they're historically, Black neighborhoods. And so it's important for us, if, before the prices get too crazy, that we think about how we can get in these spaces and own it together and come up with ideas to develop property and get these spaces activated with Black ownership.
I would say the thing about it that's crazy is that one of the owners who was buying up a lot of properties in South Florida, in those communities, he was interviewed, and he had said in the interview, listen, anybody can buy inside there. I have spaces that are open for minorities. If they want to buy it, they can buy it too. But no one Black and brown are buying. It's nobody that looks like us that are buying. So in his defense, we need to learn to take calculated risks a little bit more and maybe invest our money a little bit stronger, a little smarter, and start pooling together. Because I know that we may not have as much money cachet as others, but if we pool together, we can do it and stop the concept of like that, I'm not gonna make much money if I do it with other people. So understanding that, listen, if I do it with other people, I can at least put my foot in the door, right? And so, and make it happen later on.
No, I love that. And as we wrap up, I like that point, because it is tough. I mean, we have all kind of gaps. And so I get it, we're not making as much. And so our individual, the weight that we carry and dollar value that we can kind of spend is less, but the way around that is collaboration, and teaming up together. I like that.
A lot of groups do that too. That's the thing about it. It's crazy. There's a lot of different groups out there, groups in general, like race groups that do that, and they've made success off of it. And then they use that as their foundation going forward, and then they don't need to do it anymore, right? So I just think that a lot of people do it. There's a real estate investment trust company out there that you can create and have different multi-members on there, and then you can use that platform to kind of go buy property with. So the opportunity's there, so it's just find the right people, and being brave enough to take the jump.
Yeah, I love that. And I think we answered Samuel's question very thoroughly, because you're right. A lot of other groups do it in other communities, that you'll see them kind of team up and start businesses, buy property, whether it's a gas station, a beauty supply shop, a market, and their kids are working in there, but they've teamed up, whether it be as a family or a group of individuals that have come together to say we're going to invest together. And to your point, Derek, it's better to have a little bit of something than nothing, because if you don't have it, you can't even get into the game. As opposed to, well, let me become a part of this group, and so now I have equity in something that's growing. Perhaps at some point I can take that out and shift it to other investments with other groups, or have multiple small investments with various groups. And that's wealth building right there, which is the whole point of having this session, is for people to understand, yes, you have a business, you may be saving your 401k or 403b, but real estate is a very important and viable way to build your wealth. Because as you put it, the value of real estate, land, etc., increases. That's
Mhm.
what it's doing. Ultimately, it increases. So,
Especially in our area. I mean, especially in our community. So,
yeah, no, I love it. I thank you so much, Derek, for this. You're always so very thorough. And this was a wonderful presentation regarding our market. And you gave us several reasons why we should not only jump in the market, but contact you at One Market Real Estate. I love that. You have definitely demonstrated your expertise. So thank you for joining us here tonight on the state of real estate in South Florida. Thank you so much.
thank you for having me.
All right. And that's it, folks. Here at the Chamber, it's important for us to showcase our members and their expertise. Derek knocked it out the park tonight because this is an area that he does his research. He lives and breathes as a real estate broker in this area and wants to make sure that he's always doing what he can for his clients. I think this is also another important time to pause and think about the fact that are you diversifying your wealth in all the ways that you should? Are you saving? Do you have that 401k or 403b maxed out? And how are you going to ensure that you're going to be able to retire comfortably? And that means that you have to build your wealth in this lifetime. I love the concept that Derek brought up with us working collectively and collaboratively together to invest. I can't say that enough. Studies show it, and several ethnic groups and other groups do it, joining together to invest in real estate and development projects and businesses so that we build wealth together. Well, anyhow, I thank you all for joining us tonight. And I hope that you learned something and that if you're looking to get into the real estate market, that is hot right now. If you were listening, it's hot. So it's better to get in sooner than later at the level that you can or with a group. Then don't hesitate to reach out to Derek at One Market Real Estate right here in Broward County. I thank you all for joining us. Tomorrow night, we will have a program for our Women's History Month. We have Commissioner Javalana joining us, Sabrina Javalana from Hollandale Beach joining us. And she's going to talk about when she made history in Hollandale Beach as the youngest commissioner and talk about specifically her plans to ensure equity and equitable spending in the city of Hollandale Beach. So I'll see you tomorrow at 6. Thank you again for joining us. Have a good night.